It's Friday, June 13th, 2025. Happy Father's Day weekend. Welcome to episode 158 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, Alameda joins the No Kings protests. EBMUD raising rates. The Planning Board approves extended hours for a gas station. City Council to vote on the Pacific Fusion sale. The Estuary Shuttle is adding more service. How much do you know about pelicans? Remembering Wheezy Mott. Plus events for this Father's Day weekend. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story. This Saturday, Flag Day, June 14th, marks yet another nationwide protest day. While Washington, D.C. will host a military parade officially honoring the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army, over 1,500 other cities around the country will see No Kings rallies in protest of the policies of the current administration. As noted by organizers, the protest is to emphasize, quote, a president is not a king and democracy is not for sale, end quote. The event starts at 10 a.m. at Chichenio Park, where a, quote, family fun pre-protest, end quote, will include Statue of Liberty crown making as well as sign and button making. From there, participants will march to City Hall, where a rally is scheduled from noon to 1 p.m. For a look at who will be speaking at the rally, as well as links to supporting organizations, see alamedapost.com/news. Back in episode 154, I reported that East Bay Municipal Utility District General Manager Clifford Chan had proposed rate increases for EBMUD water and wastewater customers as part of a $3.2 billion two-year budget for fiscal years 2026 and 2027. On Tuesday, EBMUD's Board of Directors voted to accept the budget and institute the rate increases effective July 1st. The increases essentially amount to an 8.5% hike for wastewater, 6.5% for water. There is a slight change from our first report. Initially, the wastewater increase, based on an average 100 gallons a day, was set to be $2.31 a month in the first year. That figure is now $2.17. The second-year wastewater increase remains $2.35. The water increase still at $3.77 a month for the first year and $4.30 for the next year. Bottom line, if you're a water and wastewater customer, after 2 years, you'll see a total increase of around $151 a year. That is $1 less than the figures I reported in episode 154. The water budget includes investments of $1.2 billion in capital projects over the next 2 years and $5.6 billion over the next 10 years, including $1.9 billion in water pipeline replacement and $713 million in water treatment plant upgrades. The wastewater budget includes $170.8 million in capital expenditures over the next 2 years and $1.2 billion over the next 10 to improve large wastewater collection pipes, pump stations, treatment facilities, electrical controls, and major projects related to protecting the health of San Francisco Bay. For a complete look at the numbers and how the EBMUD Board of Directors voted, see alamedapost.com/news. As previewed in last week's episode, this week the Planning Board addressed the question of whether or not to allow the mobile gas station at 1310 Central Avenue to extend its operating hours and sell a broader range of convenience items at its store. Currently, the station, located where Encinal meets Central near Sherman, is allowed to operate from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 to 4 on Saturdays. The request asked for hours of 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. on Saturday. A little background on the island's only centrally located gas station. It's been in operation for over 75 years. Zoning records from 1958 show the site was initially zoned as a commercial district. The station operated at that time with no limitation on hours. The property was rezoned in 1974 to R4 residential and consequently became a legal non-conforming use. The city first imposed limitations on hours in 1992. Public comment was mixed, with some neighbors warning of increased noise and traffic, while others praised the cleanliness and safety of the station and the helpfulness of the staff for disabled customers. In the end, the hours increase was approved on a 4-to-1 vote. The station will also be allowed to sell packaged foods and non-alcoholic beverages, but no alcohol, tobacco, or nicotine products. In a concession to noise concerns, the audio track of the in-pump TV video monitors will be silenced. The Planning Board's decision is final unless appealed or called for review within 10 days to the City Council. Full details in Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. While you're there, Karen previews the upcoming City Council meeting, the main item on the agenda, Pacific Fusion. We first reported on the city's negotiations with Pacific Fusion back in episode 138 in January. In episode 154, we covered the public workshop about the proposed 220,000 square foot research and development facility. On Tuesday, the council will consider a resolution declaring city-owned property at Alameda Point, including the site of this project and a potential future phase, to be exempt from the Surplus Land Act. Council will also consider approving a purchase option agreement allowing Pacific Fusion and Hines to buy the land for $28.88 million, paid through off-site infrastructure improvements such as roads, utilities, and stormwater systems. Pacific Fusion has partnered with Hines, a global commercial real estate company, to advance the real estate and entitlement process involved in considering Alameda. Pacific Fusion claims the project will result in 250 jobs and $1.1 million a year in future tax revenue. The company is also considering a site in Livermore. For a complete preview, including ways you can get involved and make your voice heard, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. Since episode 79 in November of 23, we've been talking about Woodstock, the Alameda to Jack London shuttle ferry. That was when the city first took delivery of the watercraft. In July of last year, as we noted in episode 112, riders began taking advantage of the service. The popularity of the program continues to increase, so the city has announced that as of July 8th, Woodstock will move to a 6-days-a-week schedule, adding Tuesdays. Tuesday's schedule will be like Wednesday and Thursdays. Additionally, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday service will go later with trips until 10:30 p.m. All told, this amounts to a 35% increase in weekly departures. If you haven't taken advantage of this free service, you're definitely missing out. It's the easiest way to get back and forth to Jack London. Look for details of the enhanced schedule at alamedapost.com/news. From a boat with a famous namesake bird to a bird that behaves like a submarine. You've probably noticed that the pelicans are back. Like many of our other Alameda avians, the California brown pelican is only a part-time resident. The species breeds primarily in Mexico, but will spend its non-breeding time as far north as Vancouver. While adult brown pelicans have an impressive wingspan of 6.5 feet, it might surprise you to learn that the California brown is the smallest of the world's 7 pelican species. And if you've ever wondered how much that pouched beak can hold, the answer is about 2 gallons. Deborah Crooks of the Golden Gate Bird Alliance gives us a great look at these high-diving hunters, accompanied by some truly spectacular images from photographer Rick Lewis. Find the article at alamedapost.com/nature. In April, Alameda lost one of its icons. Cooking instructor extraordinaire Weezy Mott passed away at the age of 102. For over 40 years, her Dayton Avenue home hosted cooks of all ages from all over. Weezy trained at Le Cordon Bleu alongside Jacques Pepin and Julia Child. She opened the Weezy Mott Cooking School in 1977. She was also the subject of the 2019 documentary Weezy Mott, Still Cooking. Get to know a little more about one of Alameda's favorite daughters with Jean Chen's remembrance at alamedapost.com/alameda-life, where you will also find a link to that documentary. Father's Day weekend is upon us. Amanda Laird has put together a list of events that are fun and easy on Dad's wallet in this week's installment of All Around Alameda. In fact, most of them are completely free of charge. Saturday from 3 to 5, join Rhythmix Cultural Works for the opening reception of the Rising Seas exhibit at 2513 Blanding Avenue. The exhibit will feature work from 9 artists, utilizing media from repurposed spray paint cans to collages. Also on Saturday, the Alameda Free Library hosting a series of family events for Pride Month. Saturday also brings the largest carnivorous plant show in America to Alameda. From noon until 5 at St. Joseph Notre Dame High School, 1101 Chestnut Street, it's the Bay Area Carnivorous Plant Society 2025 Annual Show and Sale. The final freebie, the Food Bank Players open their production of Taming of the Shrew Saturday at the Healing Garden. The show runs the next 3 weekends. While it is free to attend, the players encourage you to donate to the Alameda Food Bank. An event that does charge admission but is high on the dad wow factor, Open Cockpit Day at the Oakland Aviation Museum. One of 2 times this year that you are able to explore some of the aircraft on display from inside the cockpit. Among the craft to check out, a MiG-15 and a Harrier jump jet. Details on these events in Amanda Laird's All Around Alameda column at alamedapost.com/alameda-life. We have an even wider selection of events for you at 94501.info. Taking a look there, Altarena Playhouse continues their production of Tennessee Williams' Suddenly Last Summer. QTAC, the Alameda LGBTQ+ Teen Center, is now open every Friday evening throughout the summer, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Veterans Memorial Building for grades 6 through 12. Laughs on Tap, Ladies Comedy Night at Faction, Friday at 8. Puppet Wars Wrestling at Almanac at 6:30 on Saturday. And the Chris Planis Jazz Trio at Alameda Brewing, 4:30 Saturday. More details at 94501.info. Thank you for your support of local news for Alameda. Find us on all the usual social media platforms and find the Postcast wherever you get your podcast, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. To all the dads, stepdads, granddads, dads-in-law, and dads-in-fact, happy Father's Day. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 159 of the Alameda Postcast.